Did you miss me? So we all know life gets busy. That's just the way it is sometimes. And I have been very busy. But we're back. So we saw some trains. I went back up to Muncie for a weekend. It was one of those Indiana weekends where it's weirdly warm. This was also late February, so it's been a little bit since I've been up there. But got some pretty good videos, saw some pretty interesting trains, and I think the video is going to turn out pretty well. But you guys know me, I love to go out for a full day. I was up in Peru a couple weeks ago, probably 3 weeks at this point, maybe even 4. And I was up there for about, I don't know, 4-ish hours, maybe 5 hours, and I decided to get out of there. I saw 2 trains, wasn't anything really exciting, so I just decided, you know, I don't really want to spend the time up here and just sit in the car all day and do nothing. So the following weekend, which is a couple weeks ago, I'm pretty sure, I went up to Muncie to hang out with some friends and then also to watch trains. And just like the last time I was up in Muncie, there were a lot of trains, and I don't know what's been going on with CSX, but they've been running a lot of their stuff in the morning, so it was great for another morning rush. And then the afternoon just kind of got crazy. We had a bunch of trains coming off the Frankfort, we had a bunch of southbounds coming, and then there weren't that many northbounds, but there was a lot of CSX that was just clogging up the diamonds there. So we had a lot going on, and it was just a great day. I met up with TJ, so I got to hang out with him, got to see, you know, where everything was and things like that. So it was just overall a really great Saturday. Finished it up a little bit earlier than I probably would have intended if I was staying in Muncie, but I had to drive back home where, you know, all the fake trains are. So we were done about 7 or so. I think if I was staying up there, I probably would have stayed out till 9, 10, 11. Just, you know, I was up early. I was up about 5:45, and I was out there. I think the first train came through about 6:30. It was a beautiful morning and a beautiful start to the day. Weather did not go as intended. It didn't get cold, but it was just like a light rain, so it was just it just wasn't very fun. But it wasn't like a heavy downpour to make things super exciting. It was just like the weather when you're just like, you know, the aesthetics of the rain to make it cool, but there's not enough rain, so it's just annoying, my opinion. Anyway, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into this video. So if you like it, leave a comment down below, but without further ado, let's check it out. I was out early on this Saturday morning in March. The forecast called for rain from late morning into the early afternoon. However, the sunrise was quite beautiful on this crisp morning, soaking in the colors, clouds, and the chirps of the birds, as we all knew spring was just around the corner. We started off with the CSX heading west towards Avon. I wanted to be out early in the morning to catch the CSX rush, and like the last time I was in Muncie, CSX was all over the rails. I don't know what this manifest trains symbol was, but it looked like CSX M363. I picked up TJ for the next train, and he stuck around with me for the remainder of the day by the rails. We see CSX I-132 heading east towards Detroit next with the YN2 AC44 leader. This will not be the last YN2 we see today. He had his usual cut of manifest on the head end, then a mix of UMAX and CSX containers for the intermodal portion of the train. It looked like a usual I-132 this morning, nothing too special. What was Craig on yesterday?
I don't know. Because he's qualified out of Fort Wayne now.
Okay. Foamers. It was a power move, by the way. CSX was on a roll with another westbound. Like the first train, I had no idea what the symbol was for this train. It was another manifest, and all of CSX's manifests looked the same, apart from 363 and 364, since they usually run with those long CSX and X Conrail boxcars. Anyways, we see an SD70 Mac as one of the engines today, and we will see plenty more of these today. CSX had some good power today, not just their usual ET44s and ES44s, which is always nice to see. Norfolk Southern also had a good share of EMD today, so a good day to be out by the tracks. This was what, M399? Right on time today. CSX I-007 made its way through town just before 9 a.m. It had a relatively newly painted ES44 on the head end. We will also see one more of these later. I-007 was a long one today, over 600 axles. I-007 was broken up into multiple blocks of domestic and foreign containers today. One thing I noticed was the abundance of the intermodal liquid containers in the middle of the train. A lot of these containers had Den Hartog markings on them. Den Hartog is a Dutch company that ships these containers worldwide. These containers will hold either liquid chemicals or gases. It was very cool to see these on 007 today.
Where bro going? The train's still going. He's in a hurry.
Not long after I-007 passed through, I-008 was heard on the scanner west of town. I-008 is almost never as long as 007, and today they were under 300 axles.
Why all the eastbounds like match 8?
I don't think he saw it, bro.
Good TJ. TJ, get out of the shot. TJ, get out of the video.
There were no chemicals on today's I-008, but there were a couple of well cars that had tractor trailers in them, which is always a special treat to see since they look silly. Our first Norfolk Southern train led us to the Frankfort Line as NS 41Z made its way west towards Lafayette. It was a big day for grain on the Frankfort Line, as a couple more trains will be using it later. NS 41Z is grain empties out of New Orleans, Louisiana, bound for Brunswick, Missouri. After 41Z took the Frankfort Line, we went north of town. Around this point, the rain had started to fall. It wasn't a downpour, but a light sprinkle that would turn into normal raindrops later in the morning. I had the great idea to catch 196 north of town as it begins to pick up speed, hopefully hearing the SD70 ACE leader notching up and roaring as it passed. This did not happen, as the engineer notched the unit all the way down as it rolled by. Lesson learned. NS 196 was a short one today with multiple cuts of tank cars. 196 runs a simple Cincinnati to Fort Wayne train daily. We made our way back into town to the crossings at Lincoln Street. We had gone here a few times, and I wanted to go again. My goal was to catch a wide angle of the train, but then I chose to capture the crossing. I need to work on my angles and videography skills. As IAA had gone through earlier, M332 was bound to be right behind it. Today, they were about 3 hours behind 008. An ES44 was leading the train, with the MAC trailing second. Both of the lead units were on and running, with the third one as idle as they went by. 332 was the usual today, with a spring of intermodal traffic up front and manifest everywhere else.
Everything goes good. You get... Bro. Damn. Bro. Oh my God. The train's here.
Dude, just worry about the train, man. It ain't that.
No, I'm grabbing the engine.
We watched profanity while the video's up, though.
God,
I've been recording, bro. CSX I-31 then came through town with something you don't see or hear very often. I-131 had a solo leader, no DPU, and all stacks. Usually I-131 and I-132 will have some sort of manifest on the head of the train and stacks on the bottom. If it's heavy enough or long enough, they will run a solo unit up front and one mid-train DPU. Today's 131 just felt off. To make things even weirder, the ES-44 leading the train had a P5 horn on it, something rather unusual. I-131 had its usual UMAX Pacer stack train containers and CSX containers today. It was a very short train. I did not hear a defect detector go off, but if I had to guess, probably less than 800 axles. The intermodal continued as NS-29A made its way down the line. NS-29A runs daily out of Calumet Yard in Chicago, bound for Inman Yard in Atlanta, Georgia. 29A is almost always domestic containers, but can sometimes carry foreign traffic if need be. Today, an ET-44AC was the leader, and it was running hot, rumbling down the rails. I love the sound and power of GE's locomotives, but the ET-44 for some reason is so quiet. CSX came back with M313 heading west. We don't like M313 when we go out because it always comes at the wrong time. Today, they broke up a bunch of Norfolk Southern's traffic trying to cross the diamond. 313 had its normal consist today. We didn't stick around too long because we needed to head towards the diamonds to catch the next train. The front unit had a ditch light out with the YN 2-second. NS-197 was next with an ES-44 leader on the head end. NS 197 had been having some issues over the past months with broken knuckles. They were running this train 10,000 plus feet long with 2 motors on the head end. Someone finally realized they should stop with the long trains as it took forever to build and get it south with all the problems the crews and trains were having. TJ told me that they had a 12,000 foot train one time. Not sure if it ran DP or not. About 2 months ago, they started implementing shorter trains. I'm not sure what they do with the rest of the cars. I didn't ask about any extra 197s and if they ran. Today's 197 was over 7,000 feet with the DP on the end, so I guess the new rules are working for now. CSX was throwing everything they had at us today. We had a couple of green lights as NS50G was coming off the Frankfort Line. In retrospective, we could have gotten this entire train and have gotten a better angle and video, but hindsight will always be 20/20. That is what we got, and we are off to CSX rails.
I ain't gonna lie.
They got their attitudes on.
Train might explode.
I've used this spot before to shoot CSX trains. My thought process is, since it's the quiet zone and not right next to the diamond, you'd be able to hear the engines roar. Well, most of the time, the engines are notched down. Lame. Regardless, it still makes for a nice shooting angle and plenty of opportunities to get different shots. We got lucky as 2 CSX trains were lined, so I was able to catch this first on track 2. This was M364, with 4 engines on the head end for some reason. If we had known it was a Mack, we probably would have gone to a crossing. The ditch lights on this engines were funky. They didn't oscillate like all the other CSX engines out there, but they flashed like hazard lights on a car. Very interesting to see. One of the engines was a freshly painted ES44. M364 is another one of those CSX manifest trains that looks like everything else. It had some auto racks here, some tank cars there, and some box cars all sprinkled in. While not a train meet, CSX M331 was next on track 1. I got a perfect angle to see the signal drop, which made me very happy. There was another YN2 scheme second, so a good day for gray power on CSX. M331 did not have any stacks on the head end today, just their manifest loads. They had some gondolas with junk in them, followed by a large cut of tank cars. The rest is mixed junk. This will be the last CSX train for the day. Finally, the train I've been waiting for all day was here. Norfolk Southern have been having some issues out near Columbus, Ohio, so there have been a few reroutes on the line. It was my lucky day as a loaded coal train was coming our way with an SD70 ACE leader and a notch-up as they roll by. NS 896 is loaded coal out of Shire Oaks, Pennsylvania, bound for the TVA plant in Tennessee. All the coal cars on this train were owned by the Tennessee Valley Authority, sporting the TVAX road symbol. This train had 2 engines up front, 121 loaded coal cars, and 2 engines on the end. 17,165 tons, or 34,330,000 pounds, and 6,717 feet long. I had seen intermodal traffic on the Frankfort Line, empty coal in the Newcastle district, and now a loaded coal train. Today was turning out to be an excellent day by the tracks.
I'll look later. Hey, my video's going, by the way, so
Oh, say less. Let me take it down real quick.
bro hates to see me happy.
Bro's gonna get spooked.
Excuse.
"44J" was next to come off the Frankfort Line. There wasn't anything too special about this train today. It had an AC 44-liter and a Dash 9 trailing second. Both engines were roaring coming down the line. NS 44J departs from Meal Mine, Illinois, grain loads bound for Charlotte, North Carolina, and is run as needed.
except for Slay, I wanted to ride tonight.
She'll be screaming for 3 seconds.
Norfolk Southern 174 came north. It took about an hour and 45 minutes for 174 to come up. The night rush was about to begin on the northbounds, and NS dispatch had to get their trains moving. NS 174 had a pretty normal consist today, a couple of engines up front and junk freight all around. It had a decent cut of lumber cars hauling wood north and a long string of empty flat cars behind it. Some place must be moving some equipment up north. Our final train of the day comes during dusk, as NS 123 comes off the Frankfort Line with another SD70 ACE leader and one of TJ's engineer friends giving us a few blasts of the horn. 123 was pretty normal today, except a large cut of tank cars towards the bottom of the train. By this time, the clouds started to roll in, snuffing out most of the remaining sunlight on this rainy day. It was interesting to go back and rewatch this footage and see just how dark the video got from the time the engines rolled by to the time the last car disappeared. whoops, I was facing the wrong direction. I hate that when it happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was a great time to head up to Muncie, a great time to hang out with TJ again. It's been a while since I've even seen the guy, let alone go watch trains with him. But overall, it was a great time. It was really interesting seeing all the CSX trains. We had a lot of Mac leaders and just Mac engines. Some Mac leaders, and there's one, but there's some EMD on CSX today. Pretty cool. It wasn't really a whole lot of foreign power today or back then, but there were some cool trains. Obviously, we got to hear a lot of screaming engines coming off of the Frankfort Line, got a couple of horn shows, and we even saw a coal train on the Newcastle, so that was really interesting to see. That's going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you liked it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you appreciate the content, at least to some degree. And if you don't like it, then give it a thumbs down, and let me know that you don't like the content. I'm not picky either way. I have no idea where I'm going next. Guess only time will tell, but you know, that's just kind of the way it is sometimes. Work and everything, but thanks for watching, and see you guys out on the rails, hopefully sooner rather than later.